In a small village surrounded by lush green jungles, there lived an old man who was alone. His children had all grown up and moved away to the city, and his friends had all passed away. The old man spent his days thinking about the past, worrying about the future, and waiting for someone to come and make him happy. One day, the old man decided to venture into the jungle to gather some fruits. While he was walking in the woods, he stumbled upon a monk who was walking alone. The monk had a pleasant and satisfied look on his face, which surprised the old man. As the old man saw the monk walking alone, he couldn't help but compare himself to the monk. He thought to himself, "I'm also alone, just like this monk. But why do I feel so unhappy while he seems so content? What makes him different?" The old man was curious and decided to approach the monk. He walked towards him and said, "I couldn't help but notice that you are alone in this jungle, just like me. But you seem to be so happy and content, while I feel so sad and miserable. What is your secret?" The monk turned to the old man and gave him a warm smile. He said, "My friend, my secret is solitude. You see, loneliness is the feeling of sadness or depression that arises when you are alone and you long for someone to be with you. But solitude is the ability to be happy and content while being alone, because you have found happiness within yourself." The old man was puzzled. "But how can one find happiness within themselves?" he asked. The monk explained, "It starts with understanding that your happiness should not depend on external factors, such as other people or material possessions. These things can be taken away from you at any moment, leaving you feeling empty and alone. But when you find happiness within yourself, you become self-sufficient and content with who you are, regardless of your circumstances." Solitude gives you the opportunity to reflect on yourself and practice self-development techniques. It is a chance to connect with your inner self and find the peace and happiness that you seek. The old man thought about what the monk had said and realized that he had been looking for happiness in all the wrong places. He had been depending on others to make him happy, and when they were not around, he felt miserable. The monk smiled and said, "You see, my friend, the key to happiness is not in the hands of others. It is within us, waiting to be discovered." The old man thanked the monk for his wise words and went home feeling enlightened. From that day forward, he spent his time in solitude, reflecting on himself and practicing mindfulness. He realized that he didn't need others to make him happy. He could find happiness within himself. The old man learned that happiness is not something that can be given to us by others. It is something that we must find within ourselves. Solitude is not something to be feared or avoided. Instead, it is an opportunity for personal growth and self-discovery. In our lives, we often search for happiness outside of ourselves, through material possessions, relationships, and external factors. However, true happiness and contentment can only be found within ourselves through solitude and self-discovery. By learning to be self-sufficient and finding inner peace, we can break free from the cycle of depending on others for our happiness and cultivate a sense of fulfillment that is not tied to external circumstances. So, take the time to reflect on yourself, practice mindfulness, and connect with your inner self. The key to happiness is within you, waiting to be discovered.